What's happening? It's Real Live, and this is Check Me Out.
Yeah, this is your boy Ski 3, and I'm on Check Me Out.
Check me out.
Yo. This is the portal. Check me out. Check me out.
Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out.
What's good, everyone? This is JTL, and this is another episode of Check Me Out. So before we get started, go ahead and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell to get the notifications. All right, so today on Check Me Out, we have a great show for you guys. We got the most incredible, talented artist, Alex Harris, coming through to show us some love, to give us an interview, and also premiere his new video, Falling For You. All right. And given the spirit that Alex is a wonderful, incredible, great, talented R&B and soulful artist, we're going to go ahead and show some love to two classic R&B albums that dropped on this day. One being ERYKAH BADU's first album, BADUism, and ZHANE's first album as well. All right. So not only that, we're going to be talking about business when it comes to being artists. All right. So one of the main things that we try to do here at Check Me Out is make sure that we go ahead and educate the artists best that we can, because you have show and you have business. And like they say, business is the biggest word in show business. Okay. So go ahead and get your popcorn, your drinks, whatever your vice is. We ain't judging over here. Go ahead, get comfortable, relax. Let's get into the show. Over the years, we have seen countless artists come back to fight for their masters and the control of their music. Recently, we've seen Taylor Swift fight for her masters after her label Big Machine Records sold as a company. She blamed the situation on male privilege, when really most artists are male and go through the same thing. For decades, Prince has been fighting Warner Brothers for proper payment, more money in its advancements to do a new album, publishing, as well as his masters. And as you can see, it wasn't going so well, and he walked around with slave written on his forehead. Also, iconic rap artist Nas was also fighting with Columbia Records for a better deal, since he was starting to sell more records. But his contract was so botched together in the beginning of him signing a deal with the label, it was nearly impossible for him to make changes to his contract later on. But after seeing how terrible these deals were going, people like Suge Knight decided to come demand more for the artists that they dealt with. And seeing how his artist that he was managing at the time was allegedly done wrong by Vanilla Ice, he decided to go see Vanilla Ice, and we'll just leave it at that. But now comes a new way of being smart about getting deals and how to treat artists. Master P thought about his past dealings with record labels and decided to give Michael Jackson's lawyer $25,000 to learn what's the best way to sign a contract in the record business. And he simply said, distribution. Get a label to distribute your music. You do the legwork, meaning you promote your own artists and music. You pay for the videos, and the label will only put your music in the stores. And after 300 million records sold later, No Limit became the biggest black-owned independent record label the world has ever seen. So in short, now that we have the internet and we're able to touch so many people across the world, as well access to free information, there's not too many reasons to really get a record deal or not know how to sign the best record deal possible. So artists out there, always be willing to learn and grow as a businessman or woman and get what's yours. All right, so as y'all can see, when it comes to music business, you really need to do your research. Make sure you got you a good team, so that way you don't go through a lot of things that these previous artists went through. Now, with Taylor Swift, Nas, Master P, to the artist that was on Suge Knight's roster on Death Row Records, like a lot of these artists were fortunate to build a career. So I'm not saying that, it's not possible to build your career, but there's so many artists that seemed to have a promising future that did not make it because they didn't have the right team around them. Like certain things, real quick, you may sign to a label and artists may have a manager and an entertainment attorney that was given to them by the label. And the best thing to do, from what I hear sometimes, is to go ahead and get your own team outside of that and bring in your own people. All right. So just for artists that's on the come up, trying to do their thing, that really want to be a part of this game, the best thing to do is learn what you need to learn. Make sure you have a good team around you and take it serious, because this is a business. not just for you to make it like it's American Idol. Trust me, you don't want to be like Prince, have to come back and try to fight for your masters, and then next thing you know, you pass away before you actually get to enjoy receiving your masters. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get into 2 classic albums that dropped on this day, all right? ZHANE and ERYKAH BADU. Let's get into it. On February 15th, 1994, R&B group ZHANE released their self-titled album. This album had 3 hit singles: Hey Mr. DJ, It's a Groove Thing, and Sending My Love. The album also ended up going gold in 2 months and hit number 8 on the R&B charts. The album was written by the 2 group members, Renee Nefel, Jean Norris Bella, who were also managed by Queen Latifah's Flavor Unit, and also helped by Naughty by Nature, who also did the production on the album. And even though their second album was not as well received and didn't do as well in sales and hits, their first album is still considered an R&B classic. So if you never heard it, make sure you go and check it out. ZHANE. On February 11th, 1997, ERYKAH BADU released her first album, BADUism, which features the hit singles On and On, Other Side of the Game, and Next Lifetime. The album went on to sell 3 million copies and earned ERYKAH BADU a Grammy for Best R&B Album. Everyone loved this album, including critics that recognized how creative she was when it came to her style of writing. On and On spoke about people not understanding the strength and power of our melanated skin, and Other Side of the Game spoke from the woman's point of view while dealing with a good brother who happens to make a living unconventionally. Nonetheless, ERYKAH BADU has been one of the leading forces in neo-soul and hip-hop for the last 24 years, and BADUism was the start. So if you never heard it, go back and peep the greatness on this day. All right, so now y'all can see that's that classics. You know what I mean? From ZHANE, and when I was younger, I used to say, Zane, hey, don't hold it against me. I didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid. You know what I mean? But ZHANE, It's a Groove Thing. Hey, Mr. DJ, Send My Love, man. They had the jams on there. And I don't want to speak out of term, and I believe that would be, you know, considered, you know, house music, if I'm not mistaken. But they was jamming. Then you got, of course, ERYKAH BADU with The Other Side of the Game. And what I liked about that song, the way she was able to be creative and talking about, you know, what a young lady might be going through while dealing with a brother who is a good brother, like, you know, educated, very intelligent, but, you know, at the time in his area, he felt that, you know, he had to do what he had to do to survive, but she tried to do the best that she could to go ahead and, you know, support his brother, but also give him knowledge and try to do other things. So that's something that, you know, only a person who dealt with that could really understand, or people that didn't understand it, that's never been through it. She speaks to let people know, to gain, you know what I'm saying, some knowledge on what it is. And then you got Next Lifetime. Even though now she was basically doing her version of Me and Mrs. Jones, but at the same time, just talking about, you know what I'm saying, still being, you know, faithful and dreaming a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's not in the way she just coming out and saying, I want to take your man or something like that, or go, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But these 2 albums are classics, you know what I'm saying, classic R&B music and all of that great stuff, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into Jasmine Sullivan's album, Hotels, into her album Hotels, and we're gonna go ahead, give it a review, let y'all know what's dope about it, and you know what I'm saying, if y'all should check it out now. Let's get into it. On January 8th, 2021, Jasmine Sullivan released Hotels. Yeah, you heard that right. This album to me is the other side to Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation, meaning that even though it's raunchy, sexually empowering, sassy, and seemingly misandrous sounding, it's still classy, thought-provoking, life-revealing truth, and feelings that some women never get to express. The skits on the album features young ladies giving accounts to why they make some of their choices and deciding to find liberation in doing so. So guys, if you're a little insecure about how you've been treating your girl lately, you may not want to let her listen to this album. Just kidding. But Jasmine Sullivan sounds amazing with great vocal arrangements, effortless vocal range, and soulfulness. She keeps letting us know why she was compared to Lauryn Hill in the first place. Production on the album was done by HEAUX, Diesel, Cardiac, Kevin Wooten, Lee Logic, and many others. Everything sounds up to par on this album, and it's worth checking it out. So with that being said, I give this album a strong 4 checks. Definitely a classic album in the future. All right, so there you go. Jasmine Sullivan's Hotels. Hey, to me, it was a dope album. It was crazy because I'm thinking, you know, nowadays we consume music so fast, so much. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm sitting here listening to it. It's a little over an hour of a project. And, you know, the songs were just going and everything. The skit sounded dope. You know what I'm saying? Then next thing I know, the album was over. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was going to be more songs because it's like around 17 tracks. But that's how good it was. It was like you could close your eyes and like picture the people telling the stories in the skits, and then the songs, they make sense when they come on after the skits. And I think since we consume music so fast nowadays, this is going to be an album that people are going to have to go back and listen to again, because you got those classic albums. And just like I said, with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, definitely a classic. And at that time, you know, it would take somebody a month or two for them to go ahead, preview the album, you know what I'm saying, and then just sit with it and then be able to write about each song, the production, how the person felt, you know, whoever's critiquing the music before they give their opinion on it. So that's why I gave it 4 checks, because I believe in the future we're going to be able to go back and listen to this album and then really get it and digest what happened, you know what I mean, in these times now to what it is in the future. You know what I'm saying? All right, so now that we've got that out the way, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. So, you know what I mean, go ahead, refill, get your refill with your popcorn, your drink, whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Just keep it legal. And then we're going to go ahead, after the commercial break, we're going to come back and we're going to check out my boy, Alex Harris. You know what I mean? We're going to do his interview. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and premiere his new video, Falling For You. All right, so you guys make sure you stay tuned and check out some of those commercials so we can go ahead and support Black businesses. All right, be back. What's good, everybody? It's your boy JTL, Opposite From The Norm. And real quick, I just want to let y'all know about Opposite From The Norm apparel t-shirts, brought to you by GFAM G-Wear. You like our show and our content? Then go to gfament.com and click on G Store, and there you can purchase an Opposite From The Norm t-shirt. Also, you can check out other great tees that represent true kings and true queens as well. Shirts that motivate and make you feel great. Once again, that's gfament.com and click on the G Store link to get your apparel tees. Now back to the show. Chill!
Here at Above Average Towing, we are here to service your towing needs. We do jump start, towing, tire change, gas delivery, and lockouts. We have certified technicians, we are licensed and insured, and we give you an accurate arrival time as we care about you and want to get you off the road safely. Affordable prices and great customer service. Serving Pinellas County and surrounding areas. Contact us at 727-288-3556.
Oh yeah, and don't forget, Ski 3, the new album, Finally Finding Myself, on all major platforms, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe, go stream them, and go download. Make sure you support your artists now. You know what it is.
You can tell we getting money, how my niggas ball lot. Dripping sauce and get in the bag, I make these bitches fall lot. Popping tax and popping bags, you know I like to show out. Spilling liquor in the club, young nigga wild lot. Designer jeans.
Baby girl, God got a plan and a purpose for you. The power of forgive me. The power of faith move mountains.
When's Daddy coming home? He coming home. Just eat your food.
How you supposed to tell me what the headphones on?
I can hear you. What's up?
Okay, Trey, I need you to watch the baby while I'm at work. Can you do that?
What about the daycare we paying for?
I pay for the daycare. You put in $20. That's not paying for daycare. Period, point blank, I can't keep doing this by myself. This is your son also.
Yeah.
Once again, you're walking out.
I'm coming back. I'll be back.
13 years old, killed by the police, man. Sick of this shit. I need to talk to you about something. So what you know about the taxi cab dope gang?
The what?
Follow me. Straight out the bottle, straight out the bar. 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 Follow me.
These police officers don't never think about pulling over taxi cabs, bro. It's the driver, 2 passengers, and 100 pounds of dope.
Is the roof required? Is the roof for you, man? Business as usual.
We pull up, we dead and you going 8 shit by that revenue. If I'm caught, I'm going federal. Mind on riches. Always choose money over bitches. Told my nigga in the pen, keep his head up. When I look inside his eyes, I don't see nothing. That's a gone soul. He said first day he gon' replace his with Joe's.
I'm a big dog, no little. Serving that dog food, no kibbles. She gon' eat the drug like Skittles. I'm the man, not the man in the middle. I ain't trippin', long as my real ones got my bike though. I ain't trippin', long as I keep me some racks, ho.
Home, young blood. Home. You probably will get used to it.
That's right. What brought you in here, bro?
This ain't home. This ain't home, bro.
It's your home now, bro.
Home is where the heart at, bro.
Exactly.
Home is where my kids at. Home is where my girl at, bro.
You might want to get used to it, bro. Everything you just named, we got the same thing outside these walls, bro.
Yes,
we got the same thing, but you got a release date though, right?
11 years?
But you got a release date.
In 11 years.
Oh, we got partners in here, when they look at their paperwork, it's all zeros.
My bad, my earlier big dog. Bro, I gotta get used to this, man.
Sound like you ready to have that conversation, bro.
I guess so.
I don't know your story, but what you in for, man?
Man, I'm in here because I trusted the people. Because I trusted my brother. I trusted my friends, and he told on me, bro. I'm talking about told on me.
Man, it sounds like me the first day I was in here, bro. You might as well get over that. Using everybody else as an excuse for why you in here ain't gonna help you survive in here. That's bullshit, man. Even though it might be true, because I ain't gonna sit here and tell you what you're feeling is wrong. I'm gonna just tell you you need to use that feeling to express it in a different way. Change the narrative. Control your path. Because you in here for a while. So it's either gonna be a good road or a hard road.
Hey, bro, what you reading, man? What it is?
Oh boy, this shit, bang.
Well, from a lot of shit dangerous. Everybody wanna be famous. So they hit from every different angle. Paparazzi people explaining. Well, from a lot of shit dangerous. Everybody wanna be famous. So they hit from every different angle. Paparazzi people explaining. Yeah. Look, you gotta be where I be to see what I see. It made a G out of me. Everyday feelings on E, but my name holding weight in these streets, baby. I'm on TV. Brick living got me solid, so I'm too hard. I be swimming to the money like a pool shark. And I can sell water to fish, get them hooked hard. Cause where I'm from, you only hood or your book small. You could be sick of being down till you come up. Channel the pain and get you reaching for the stars. Daddy walk, that's how we gon' handle it, mama. Reshuffle the deck and hope we deal some better cards.
All right, what's good, everybody? What's good? This is JTL, and this is another episode of Check Me Out. And today we have an incredible featured guest, someone who is very talented when it comes to vocal, somebody who's very talented as far as music arrangement, as well as a great performing artist. I've seen this gentleman perform many times, and I was never disappointed. Also, someone who's a philanthropist in the community, somebody who also is one of my mentors, and I'm very, very happy to have him as well as a mentor. Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Alex Harris. How you
Hey,
doing today?
doing great, JTL. How's it going?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I was glad to be able to catch up with you, so we can do this interview, so I can introduce everybody to you because I've known you for, I think we've known each other for about 10 years now, if I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
since we met at the Royal.
Yep.
So, getting started, I wanted to go back in the beginning where your music started because I was just being a little nosy going over your bio, and I
Right.
saw that you actually started at 7 years old performing with your family and traveling around the country, traveling around the world. You also got to perform for some very prestigious people at a young age. So if we could, I'd like for you to kind of go back there to how it got started when you were just 7 years old, singing and you and your family doing such great things that you guys did.
Yeah. So I did start very young. I was 7 years old when I had my first drum set made of buckets from my neighbor's backyard. My first drumsticks were the pine tree branches, and I had I had a very innovative approach to creating when out of the resources that we had. And so I'm one of 8 children, 5 boys, 3 girls. I'm in the middle. I was born in a trailer that my dad bought when he was a teacher, and that was his first property he owned.
Oh, okay.
And so he ended up getting married, and my mother, and they were young, and so they end up having 5 children in that trailer, and it actually burned, and they moved out to his great aunt's house. We all did for temporary until he bought a house, and but was just growing up in a small town, 2,500 people, very limited opportunities as far as accessing the opportunities in the entertainment industry, particularly. So we didn't have a lot of places where to do private lessons, and so we ended up being homeschooled because there were some challenges that my dad, as an educator, wasn't pleased with what was going on at that time with the school system. And so he wanted to do what he could, and both parents being educators ended up being taking a homeschool curriculum, and we got educated at home or sometimes at our parents' church, and small congregation. So we would go there and get our education. That's how I got my education, and my siblings as well, K through 12. But one of 3 key things I'll always like to talk about in interviews is that when people look at us, they'll be like, "Oh wow, what did your parents do?" And I would say it's 3 main ingredients, I would say in retrospect, that contributed to making us who we are, and that's faith, education, and music. I mean, everything that we did. Dad is also a pastor of a small congregation, still is today, and everything was either had to do with faith and make sure we get our work, become critical thinkers, and make some of ourselves is what our parents always instilled into us in conversation, and allowed us creative freedom in doing music, such as creating the drums out of buckets and taking the tin pans from the pie crust or building stuff in the backyard. They really allowed us to explore. That exploration opportunity led to many places, such as 2 presidential inaugural parties that we did. I did one of them myself, and the one I did with my brothers, and then Prime Minister of Ireland, Premier of Bermuda, tours in South Asia and the South Korea area, and the islands, just about many islands in the Caribbean space of the world, and throughout North America, over 40 states I've traveled, and in Canada. And so met so many different people and learned so much from so many people and still learning today. It has really helped to shape how I see the world and the opportunity, and how to also it has also encouraged me to ensure that I provide or give back, provide access or opportunities to others as well. When I came to St. Petersburg area, I had an idea and curriculum, and pretty much developed. It was called 360, about personal formation for social transformation, that I introduced to the guy who later became a business partner, Herbert Murphy, and I introduced also to Carl Lavender.
So I remember seeing the first time after we had met that you and your brothers had came together as, you know, young men, and you made a gospel album,
Right.
which was incredible. So how was it when you guys came together, made that gospel album? And I was wondering, I'm sure your parents was happy for that, right? But I was wondering, what was it, the steps or the feelings of your parents when you decided to, you know, get more into the secular side? Because, you know, my mother and my grandparents are, you know, pastors and missionaries and things of that nature. But fortunately, you know, my mom, she got me my first computer and actually was okay with it. So I'm wondering, what was it, you know, those steps, or how your parents felt after, you know, the gospel album to go into secular music?
Well, first, my mother is a little bit more progressive, in some ways.
Always mom, right?
More traditional, but you know, I think that the journey has been very interesting, and by that I say, because it's hard to kind of categorize our parents with their educators. So their way of thinking sometimes in some ways conflict with their traditional fundamental way of thinking on the spiritual side or theological side. So if we do like, it never was, we could do non-gospel songs if it didn't have words like baby in it or something. We you know, for example, at my sister's wedding, I did a country song that my dad actually chose. And so they never it was if it were, or it can be a song that even if it just was labeled as an R&B versus gospel, you know, then it changes the perception.
Kind of like BB and CC Winans, where they kind of, I don't want to say all over the place, but they express love, whether it's relationship or God.
Yeah. With
like
with each other, right? So for me, it's just, you can express whatever your challenges growing up in the quote unquote hood, or or your successes as an artist, or your relationships, how you view it, were they good or bad, or if you want to sing something more spiritual as it relates to, you know, God the Creator, or your salvation experience. I think it's all great music, and it's not. And to say, some people have the old way of saying it was, one is secular and one is religious. But I think that nothing, when you say secular, you say that God is not in it. But I think God is a creator of it. So, or it came from a pure place. So
because you know, us guys being from the church, you know, that's how, like you said, it's old school. They would say secular.
Yeah,
so I know you would pick up on it as soon as I said that.
Yeah, they would say devil music in the old churches, but that's just a lack of knowledge. So people are destroyed. So people miss things in life, and when you talk about destruction, we destroy our own development. We destroy our own opportunities, right, and accessibility. So there are people who've come to me, and I'm singing When a Man Loves a Woman. No joke, consistently, I get this regularly. People come to me, men and women, and say, after I'm done with a song or a performance or a show, that you healed me, or your music healed me. And, you know, or I feel like I can love again, or I want to go home now. I've been having trouble with my relationship, and now I've literally had those statements told me. And to my surprise, I'm up there before I go on stage. I try to get very centered and I do my prayer, my routine, and all that kind of stuff. But because I know the power of music and whatever story I decide to tell, whether it's a love story about a man and woman relationship uh, or whether I'm telling a story about anybody, any love relationship. I don't care, whoever you love. And then, or whether if I'm telling a story, singing Amazing Grace, I think that even that song, Amazing Grace, for some people, it's about the salvation experience that I had when I came to the altar and I said, I'm going to join the church. For other people, Amazing Grace has something to do with something completely different, not so much the salvific experience as we know it in the Protestant or Catholicism, but the grace that we feel just in life itself and a more gratitude to the creator or the force behind our existence. You see what I'm saying? So I think that everything that we do, by the time it gets to the hearer, it is translated into the hearer's personal experience. So for me to try to confine something and say this is this and this belongs over here to only this group, I mean, if I did that, then I'm just missing out on reaching a whole bunch of other people.
Gotcha. And since you say that, because I noticed that your music has, a lot of different genres placed under your bio. So so when that's done, well, let's talk about your label situation first, and I guess we can kind of get into the packaging or the marketing thing behind it. So with your label situation, like how is that set up? Because I know when we first met, you was always on the grind. You're still on the grind, and working hard. So I was just wondering how is your label situation set up, and does it work well for you that it doesn't, like you said, where they're worried about the categories, like how do we sell this music, and talking to you, I get that vibe, and knowing your music, that it's about what you are feeling. It's not just, all right, I want to categorize it like this, and it's just for this, and you know what I mean? So how is it with your label situation set up, and for as like them giving you that creative freedom versus how they lock down other artists?
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about independence. I think when you're independent thinker and you actually can create something and establish a business as independent, you attract other independent thinkers or free thinkers. In my thought process, as you know, and being in this kind of creative freedom space, the freedom of creation space, I attracted Richard Goddard through an introduction from my brother, who's a producer. In fact, he did a lot of work for her, so he won his Grammy through some work he did with her as well. 2 nominations. He actually may have 6 nominations, and so a Grammy nomination. So, but here's the deal. Richard and I met because he was in search of that same kind of sound or expression that I offer in what I do. And I was in search to work with somebody like him. He started one of the largest distribution companies in the world, Orchard, and which was purchased a few years ago by Sony, making the Orchard Sony the largest distributor for music in the world. And with 28 offices around the world and artist services. So he's now, since selling it to Sony, he has become the chief creative officer and was able to start his own label called Cross the Line Music via Orchard Sony, and I have my own company through Updoor. So together we were able to say, let's just make great music. His words verbatim, mine as well. Let's just make great music. And let's not be confined to say, oh, that's a country song, oh, that's an R&B. Let's just, you're a great singer, sing it like you sing it, be authentic, and let it produce what it produces. And
yeah, because I was looking it up, and it looks great to me, and I think that's what's most important, because unfortunately, we'll see a lot of artists get into situations, which is what I want to talk about next, where nowadays you will see artists do like a big rollout for themselves. They have the producers they need, engineers, songwriters, and everything, marketing team, everything on their own, and then they'll get into a contract situation like you hear everybody talk about the 360 now.
Right.
And it's I want to get your take on that. Do you think that artists realize their potential, or are we still in that mindset where we have to get artists to realize even when you get a contract, it's a business deal. It's not just you're going to work for some franchise restaurant or something like that. So I want to get your take on that. Do you think that we still need to keep waking artists up on, making those decisions so they don't have to go back later on and say, oh, I got robbed and all of that stuff?
So a 360 deal is not a bad deal. It's a great deal if it's negotiated on the path of greatness for the release of
Oh yeah, hold on. I'm gonna have you start that again because I know a lot of people gonna be like, what? So I'm gonna let you say that again and then break it down.
360 deal is a great deal if you negotiate the product. Understand the 360. 360 meaning that I am going to invest into the development of the product. I'm going to put the product out. I'm going to ensure that you get on a tour, which you have to pay for. I'm going to ensure that you get all the time you need in the spaces that you need. Now, I'm talking about a real 360. I'm not talking about a 360 deal from somebody who hasn't done anything but talk and say, I'm going to get you this and go get you into some studio. Well, a real 60. That person give you a 360 deal. That means that person or that company is investing finances and their connections and their network into the development of your product and getting your product to the market, right? That's your product to the market. That's your merchandise to the market. That's your helping you set up, if not setting up for you, all those platforms and channels for your music to be sold to greater market. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to get necessarily half of what you get all the time. It depends on what amount of money they put up. And 360 deal only means too, they're getting a percentage of everything, not half. Like for shows, it may end up being, I don't know, it can be anywhere like 10%, 20%, or whatever. What you get for the merchandise, it can be the same thing. And it's a little piece of everything. It's not half of everything. It's a piece of everything. And generally what happens, if I put $150,000 into your product, I'm going to get my $150,000 back first, and then we're going to start splitting the percentages, right? We don't just necessarily, that means that I took a risk, and I took the financial risk to say, I believe in you, not knowing whether someone is going to actually buy your stuff or not. Your parents, your friends may buy it, but for me to get my 150, I could be in the negative. But I'm going to take the chance because I believe in you as much as you believe in you. So because I believe in you and you believe in you, we both going to work hard. I'm going to take my hard-earned cash and invest it into you. And once we get you to a point, I'm going to get my $150,000 back. And then I'm going to take, if it's a 360 deal, a percentage of shows, a percentage of merchandise, a percentage of sales, downloads, Spotify, whatever, which is very small, right? And you got to sell, you got to stream so many million before you even get $10,000. So it's not even streams, it's more downloads and more shows. And that's another reason why 360, because you really don't make a lot of your money back when you only doing streams. You have to stream a lot of music in order to make some money back. So here's the deal. I think that it's very important to understand music business, like the coffee business, will work for you if you work for it. So you have to work for it, and it has to make sense. See, I can go open a coffee shop, and say that, I'm not making anything, or I can be a starving coffee shop owner, just like you can be a starving artist.
Yeah.
You can be a successful coffee shop owner, as you can be successful, and you don't have to be Starbucks to be a successful coffee shop. You don't have to be Beyonce to be a successful artist.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that maybe the biggest issue we have with a lot of our young up and coming artists that they're more concerned with being stars versus realizing that it's a business.
Yeah, I think people just like to see that they got so many different uh, uh, platforms and systems that they can get streams and up their numbers on Spotify, up their numbers that are not real. Like I said, you see people sometimes with billion streams, they can't even sell out a 5,000 seater. And so I think you have to think about numbers where you're developing fans. Like when you look at the history of Motown and Stax and, Capitol back in the day and Atlantic, they really built the fan base. That's the reason why we still know about Aretha Franklin after she deceased. That's how we still know about Ray Charles. That's how we still know about Louis Armstrong and Mahalia Jackson and all those people who no longer here to physically be present to promote anything, but their records always sell and have these waves of sales depending on what season, right? And so even Sam Cooke still a few years ago was generating over $3 million just on one stream of his income, right?
Wow.
And so, and he's been dead for over 50 years. So here, that's a perfect example of saying when you build a fan base. Whereas if you're just streaming a lot, right? When you're gone, or if it's some illusional streaming number, so look to build a fan base and you start that where you are and you have a plan to build out and you press repeat and you press repeat. Whatever works in St. Petersburg, whatever works in Tampa, whatever works in Atlanta, whatever works in Miami, wherever you are in the world, you start there and you go from city to city and you have a strategy. The strategy is I'm going to start here, and if it works here, whatever I did here, boom, boom, boom. The cool thing is with the media, you have more access to more people immediately, and you get a chance to do the same tact of building your base over and over and connecting in whatever outlets there are. That often attracts, bigger muscles, which give you more negotiation power when it comes to contracts. If you do want to own your masters or co-own your masters or whatever with the company or own, they can lease it and hold it for up to a certain period of years and then it's released to you, whatever is negotiated. But again, I'm sure that's going to have a lot to do with how much money they put into you as well. Nowadays, owning masters is a little bit different and easy because most companies want you to be at a certain point before. So it will be kind of silly for you to turn over your masters if you were like Chance the Rapper because with so much building on its own, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not that, whereas with another artist where nobody didn't know of you at all, and it's because of the record company that you got to be the name that you are, is different, right? But by the, some artists who were before him and now it's two different conversations that we had. So if you are an artist and you're just getting started and you have somebody that say, hey, I'm going to drop, I don't know, $50,000, $75,000 on you to get you going, right? Because that's about how much it's going to take to really get you going. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a career for anything less than that. You can have a local, regional, it'll take longer, but still you're doing what you want to do. So, but you're still going to need at least, 10, 15 grand just to start on the very, 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 very low end. I mean, so that's just pretty much doing everything yourself. And I don't know, going from club to club and getting a few $100 here, a few $100 there, but it can be done and working maybe another job to, keep it. But to really do it right out the door, I mean, you're going to need some investment, some real dollars investment, like I said, 50, 75, Jesus, about where it is.
So, with everything going on now, with the COVID and everything, how has your and I'm gonna have you introduce your video that we're gonna be playing. How has it been with you still doing music now with COVID and trying to be out doing performances or just trying to keep everything online? Like, how has that process been for you?
Well, it's been different. I think as it has been for everybody. In the beginning of the COVID lockdown in the spring, I honestly was a little bit afraid and said, wait a minute, we're supposed to be trying to put our record out, this, and all that. But then I got okay after about a few hours in one day, and I started to just try to create and make the best of it. Order the equipment, had it delivered, start to record the vocals with tracks I had, start reaching out, texting other colleagues of mine who are writers to write songs. And I gave birth to the song Falling For You, which is one of the songs that now is in the top 50 for this year. Other songs have been named the #1 song for 20 on the what was it called today? It was on one of the charts called PC Audio.
Okay.
The .com was named #1 song of the top 20. It was in the top 20. It was in the top 100. It's been in the top 200. So we are making noise all over the world. In the UK, Europe, South Africa, North America, of course, the US and Canada, the islands. So we're making noise all over the world with the songs that we put out, the last few months of this year. And the song that is now charting on national urban AC charts radio is Falling.
Okay.
It's on BET Soul, on BET Her, it's on MTV Yo. So we are pretty super excited, and we're thinking, in a few weeks that if things keep moving as they are moving, we can see even more success with the record.
Okay, that's what's up. Because I know you're a great performer, so I know it may be kind of like did it take a moment to adjust, like, man, I can't be out there on the stage and embracing the audience, that I do so well. Like,
I have to learn how to do it where people can feel it, via Skype or Zoom, which was kind of different. But I performed in television studios, so I had to kind of imagine it like on a television studio and take the same approach. Even when I did my virtual release party, it was just like cameras and me and the band. And so I just had to kind of use my imagination that I'm singing to people who are going to be watching at some time, and not really focus on the room itself. And I just connected with the music. And I think the cool thing about the creatives, we found a way to do what we can do the best we can do in the safest way. The good news is I think I've used this time also to not just create, to build relationship, make current relationships stronger, to explore the ways that we can do things that can continue to, from the business side, look at how we can, really create reserves for promotions and put dollars elsewhere, whether as opposed to in the flights and hotels and food, and travel back and forth from studios and so on and so forth. Things that we can do now and do a lot of promotions all over the world just by Skype or Zoom. So it's allowed me to do a lot of radio, a lot of television and Zoom shows, and people who transferred to this space. And so it has really been a great blessing doing morning shows, ABC affiliates, CBS affiliates, NBC, and so on and so forth. So it's been really great.
Okay, that's awesome. Man, I definitely want to thank you for giving me your time. Even though you had a busy day, I'm glad you still gave us some time to be on the show. So before we get out of here, I want you to go ahead and introduce your new single, Falling For You, and let people know where they can find you at as well.
Yeah, hey. So the song coming up is Falling For You by me, Alex Harris. It's everywhere, on every platform, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. Also, you can go to YouTube and watch the music video. It's already on BET Her, BET Soul, MTV Yo. And so you can follow me at Alex Harris Official on Instagram. Also, hit me up on Facebook at Official Alex Harris Music. And IG is Alex Harris Official. And Twitter is Alex Harris Tweet. And TikTok is Alex Harris Official. You can email me at alexharrisofficial.com. Go to my contact page on my website. But here is Falling For You. Check it out.
All right, guys. So that's going to be the end of this episode. And there's no reason that you cannot find Alex Harris music. He is on everything virtually. So definitely check him out. You can go and also check out his performances online. check out his great music, and definitely make sure you hit him up and let him know that you love it. So this is an episode of Check Me Out, and I want to thank you again, Alex Harris, for giving us your time.
Yeah, check me out.
All right, guys, that was Alex Harris. All right, so now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and premiere his new video, Falling For You. All right, let's do it.
Lifetime lover seemed like a long time until I met you, girl. You changed my mind. You take me to heaven every time. More happiness than money can buy. The world keeps spinning around. Oh, yeah. You're the good I've been waiting for, and I won't let go. Yeah. Every day I keep falling for you. And love is everything about you. Every day got me feeling brand new. Yeah, crazy about the things you do. Every day I keep falling, can't resist the falling for you. Every day I keep falling for you. Oh, yeah. Look at here. I'm just another man from an average town. Sweeter than honey, mama, look what I found. In this big world, so much coming at me. Wake up to you is all that matters to me. Let the world keep spinning around my soul. You're the good I've been waiting for, and I won't let go. No, 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 no. Every day yeah. You got me feeling brand new. I'm so crazy. Yeah. And I can't resist. I can't resist. I'm falling for you. Falling for you. Oh yeah. I'm falling. I'm falling. Every day, every minute, baby, yeah. I can't help it, no, 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 no. So why let the world keep spinning around? I found a place for my soul, been waiting for, and I won't let go. No, no, no. Every day I keep falling for you. Yeah, I'm in love. Yeah, can't resist. I'm falling for you. You know gravity got me pulling me to you. Every day I keep falling for you. Right into my arms, baby. I want you to know I'm stepping right here now. I'm loving for you. Right into my arms.
All right, there you go. Alex Harris, Falling For You. I mean, come on now. You can't front. You can't tell me that brother don't do his thing. All right, make sure you go check him out on every streaming platform there is. He's on Facebook, Instagram as well. If you want to go ahead and reach out to him, have a conversation with him, talk to him. Hey, you see, he's a down-to-earth brother, also a philanthropist, gives back to his community, gives back to the youth. Man, you can't get no better than that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Well, I'm sure you did, you know what I mean? So make sure, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you want to reach out to us, check me out music, one word, check me out music at gmail.com, as well on Instagram and Facebook if you want to go ahead and reach out to us. But make sure when you send us any music or videos, please make sure that on the videos is I'm not going to say the cleanest, but, you know, make sure there's not certain things in there that's too inflammatory, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But just go ahead and reach out to us. If you want to go ahead and talk to us, just go ahead and comment down in the comment box, or just go ahead and hit us up on the email. You know what I mean? Every week, every Friday at 8:30 p.m. here on Check Me Out. All right? So make sure y'all get at us. Peace.
What's happening? It's Real Live, and this is Check Me Out.
Yeah, this is your boy Ski 3, and I'm on Check Me Out.
Check me out.
Yo. This is the portal. Check me out. Check me out.
Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out.